Hello. I want to start with this. Who are we? And ask and answer those two questions. Who are we? As a country, who are we? And is America done? Have we finished our job? Have we invented what we were supposed to invent? Have we freed who we were supposed to free? Have we done all the things that we were supposed to? As you know, if you watch this program, the 40-day and 40-night challenge is a blueprint for national survival. I don't know if you know much about Thomas Jefferson, but he was into codes, man. He was into puzzles. I don't know if this was a puzzle or a code to us, but I think they left breadcrumbs all over the place. They knew we would fail. And Jefferson and Adams were writing back and forth to each other about 1820. And Adams said, you know, they're going to fail. This is going to fail. And Jefferson said, yes, yes. But the people will figure it out, and they'll remember what we were trying to do, and they'll do it right this time. I don't know if this is a code, but these are his words at the end of the Declaration of Independence. With firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. This is a 4-step program that I've asked you to do, 40 days and 40 nights. I have firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. Because God was instrumental in putting this country together. And remember, we changed the world. We changed the world. It's not a coincidence that all of a sudden, you know, everybody was by candlelight. America came around and boom, everything changed. The world had been the same forever. And America came along and man's imagination. The whole world changed because of the ideas of our founders. Now that's pretty intense. So was it just about the light bulb and the steam engine and then the gasoline engine and television and radio and all of that stuff? Was that what it was? Was it just about freeing people, stopping communism, stopping Hitler? Is that what it was? I have to tell you something. I think in the grand scheme of things, when we all die, we're going to get to the other side. And we're going to say, wow, none of that was important. We cannot be the generation that answers this question, slaves. That answers this question, somebody who just doesn't want to work very hard. Somebody who just doesn't have a dream. A group of people that had it once and lost it, and they're fine being mediocre. We cannot be the generation that answers that. And the answer to this one, is America done, is no. No. But everywhere you look, you're being told we're done. Everything. The government. Can't do it without us. Can't do it alone. You need a hand out, not a hand up. That's a lie. That's a lie. Once we realize who we are, and we realize that this whole thing came together with God and firm reliance on the protection of God, then you'll know. Then you'll know. We're just getting started. We are facing something that I think you'll look back on in 500 years from now, and it will be the beginning of either the Dark Ages or something akin to the Industrial Revolution. But things are changing, and they are going to change on a global scale. And when anything changes that dramatically, there's going to be tough times. Well, we got tough times coming. When has that stopped us? Have you seen the Rocky Mountains? I mean, I got news for you. I'd be at the Missouri River. I'd be like, I ain't crossing the river. The Rocky Mountains, I would have never made it past Denver. Because there ain't no way I'd look at that and go, you got to be kidding me. What if it sucks on the other side? I wouldn't have made it. But Americans crossed them. And when we ran out of land, we went to the moon. So are we going to get stuck here or not? I want you to understand, there's a report out called Global Trends, a transformed world. I told you about it earlier this week. Here it is. Global Trends, a transformed world. this is what it's going to look like, 2025 global landscape. This is a government report. This is what the government says the world is going to look like in 2025. Now, we can change the world, or we can allow the world to change us. The world is about to be transformed, and there are people involved. How many times do people have to say we're going to fundamentally transform America before it sinks in that they really are? This report discusses what they expect by 2025, like the unprecedented transfer of wealth roughly from west to east now underway. It's in this report. Do not take my word for anything. Read this report. It's available online. We'll make it available at glennbeck.com and foxnews.com. They say it will continue for the foreseeable future. Another finding in this report, today, wealth is moving not just from west to east, but it is concentrating under more state control. In the wake of the 2008 global financial crisis, the state's role in the economy may be gaining more appeal throughout the world. Understand what that means. That means that the model of China is the goal that these guys are saying everybody's pretty cool with. This is what's going to come. Well, I'm not cool with that. Are you? Then there's this. There will be a rollback of privatization and a resurgence of the state-owned enterprises. In the early 1990s, many economists predicted that these enterprises, state-owned, would be a relic of the 20th century. They were wrong. State-owned enterprises serve as a secondary function as pressure valves, helping to relieve inflation and currency appreciation pressures. They can also act as vehicles for increased political control. Increased political control. Just what every American has dreamt about. And then there was this statement. In terms of size, speed, and directional flow, the transfer of global wealth and economic power now underway, roughly from west to east, is without precedent in modern history. Now, this isn't some sort of spooky star chamber Marxist, in the basement conspiracy. This is the government's report. And I have to tell you something. It is one way to legitimately look at the world. You could look at the world and say, yes, all of this is going to happen. And so we're going to take our lumps, or we're going to carve out a little place. But that's not what America does. We don't carve out a little niche for us. Who are we? Are we leaders or are we followers? Look, the world is going to change, and we're going to talk about this here in a second with some amazing guests. The world is going to change. You're not going to compete. You're never going to have GM. You're never going to have GM, Ford, Chrysler, all of these things making cars with people who are making $85 an hour when you can have Chinese make them the same cars for what, $1.50 a day? You can't compete that way. You can't get into protectionism. So what do? You either cower in the corner, you beg for scraps, you elect people that just control it because they'll get theirs. Or you decide who you are and that America is not done. And you put your heads together with the greatest minds, and you put your arms together with the greatest might, and I mean industrial might, that the world has ever seen. Don't take my word for any of it. Check this out for yourself. Do your own research. I get tons of email calling me liars for all kinds of things. I told you, people wanted more information about the big progressive rally on the Mall, and you should go to the Communist Party USA website. Click on the Young Communist League tab, and you'll get all the details. I got hate mail on that. How can you write an email to me saying that I'm making things up when all you had to do, it would have taken you less time to go to Communist Party USA, click on the tab, and see everything that I said? I can't make this stuff up and stay on the air. Do your own research. Go there yourself. Democrats, the proof is right in front of your eyes. There are people that will have us begging for scraps. Is that who you are? So, a global trend towards redistribution and the collapse of our Constitution. Do we have to go there? Is that where we're going? No, not if you study the Constitution for yourself. If you read the Federalist Papers, the words of the founders, you know what it stands for and you share it with others. You teach it to your children. Once you teach it to the children, your children are watching you right now. Do you know that? Your children are watching you. Everything you do. You may not have ever been passionate about anything before. You've never even maybe known that much about the country, but you do now, and your children are seeing you and the way you're reacting to things. If you're one of these people that just watching TV and you go, damn right, and then you don't do anything about it, sucks to be your children, because they will not be prepared for the new world that is coming. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, know the truth. Then in November, get to the polls and look for the people who say we are Americans and we are not done. We are the most charitable people in the world, and we're the people that keep changing the world over and over and over and over again. When the world is in trouble, it is the Americans that come running in. We run into burning buildings, not out of them. We run into burning buildings. We do not sit around and say, the building is on fire, what should we do? We run into them, and we put the fire out. Now, what are we going to do? Please, start here. Take the 40-day challenge. Have firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. There is so much going on in our world. They have a head start on us. Quite honestly, we need divine intervention. But I will tell you this, the world is changing. There is something big coming. And it's going to be as big as the Industrial Revolution. And we can either find ourselves in the dustbin of history, or we can take the words of Thomas Jefferson to heart and realize in 1820 he was writing about us. Yeah, don't worry, John. They'll figure it out. And they'll do it right this time. We can accomplish anything. We can work with the change. It's the amendment part of the Constitution. Change it. The government will say, no. We face it head on. I'll show you in a second what's coming. And then I'm going to introduce you to some people who are very, very hopeful about the future. Can we have time now? Can we do it now? Joining me first via satellite from Washington is John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the UN and author of Surrender is Not an Option. Also with me is Stuart Varney. He is the host of the Fox Business Network's Varney and Company, and Daniel Hannan. He's a member of the European Parliament and the author of The New Road to Serfdom. All right, well, first of all, John, I can't believe that you're not with us today because I'm sitting here with two Brits. We're talking about America. Help me, John, help me. John, let me start with you first because I want to talk about, first of all, did I get it wrong in the monologue that there are people that say China's going to be the model, it's going to be state-controlled, capitalism. America is going to be a second-rate nation, and we have to globalize our government. Am I wrong on that?
No, there are people who say that, and many of them were involved in writing this report by the National Intelligence Council that you referred to. I have to say, to start off, we didn't need our government to write this report. We could have asked the Harvard faculty to write it, and they would have come up with pretty much the same thing.